Hello everyone! So today is my 11th episode. The reason I did 10-1 is because I have no more than 10 fingers. Okay, so today we're going the most south that we've ever gone. But in case you're confused, we're not going to the South Pole. Okay, so we're going to New Zealand. Right there, that little island next to Australia. Fun fact, New Zealand, which is here, has a woman prime minister. And spoiler for the 10th episode, if you didn't see it yet, Finland is where we go, and it also has a woman prime minister. Okay guys, you remember our first panic mode. It looked something like this. Okay? So, if you remember correctly, it was about nothing there. Because it wasn't that big of a pandemic back then. But then, it looked like this, which was really bad because the world had just hit 1 million cases. But now that the world is almost at 6 million cases, almost, not quite, but very close, it looks more like this. Roll the clip. Okay, those panic modes took the breath out of me. Literally, water poured onto me. So, now, let's go to the interview so that we don't have to remember all of those. I'm sorry you had to see that. Now, let's go! Hi, Stacey.
Hi, Alexandra.
You are in New Zealand, right?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Claro.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All good, thank you.
Where exactly are you in New Zealand?
I live in a town called Wanganui, which is on the west coast of the North Island.
Wow.
And it has a population of about 40,000 people.
I am in a city called Napier that is on the east coast of the North Island. You know, New Zealand has two big islands. I am on the north one and on the east side.
What do you do in New Zealand?
I have two jobs, two part-time jobs. One is I facilitate some parenting classes for new mums and their babies, which I really enjoy. And my other job, I'm an administrator or a service coordinator for a charitable organisation called Barnardo's, and we work with children who are at risk, foster children, children who need supervised visitation with their parents, that sort of thing. I have been working, the parenting classes I do, we've been doing them on Zoom, just a weekly catch up to make sure everyone's okay. And my other work, I've been answering emails and that sort of thing, but the bulk of it I wasn't able to do.
My kind of work that is with accounting is pretty much the same whether I do it in the office or at work, or at home. And I've been working from home the whole time. And I will still be working from home even in the next weeks. But I'll have the chance to go to the office if I need to pick up documents or to print something really heavy.
The time here is 4:14 p.m. and it's Thursday here.
Yeah, and so it's 8:14 a.m. on Friday morning here.
The time here is 6:11 p.m. and it's Friday.
Here is 10:11 on Saturday. We are well ahead of you.
Yes, I looked it up and it turns out you're 16 hours ahead of us.
Yes.
Which is a lot.
I know, it's funny. So we're the first country in the world to get New Year's Eve and all that sort of thing and Christmas because we're ahead of everybody else.
Actually, to us, it's easier to think that you are ahead of us by 8 hours, but the day before.
New Zealand is the first country with no coronavirus cases in 3 days. Not one coronavirus case in 3 days. New Zealand has a woman prime minister too.
Yes, Jacinda Ardern.
She is our third woman prime minister. It's not unusual for us to have a woman prime minister, but Jacinda is the youngest one at the age of 39.
That's her name, Jacinda Ardern. It's the name of the prime minister.
She's a really nice, comes across as a very nice woman and easy to listen to and talk to. She's quite a kind and empathetic person. She's got a 2-year-old daughter, so she's very aware of how people feel about being isolated away from their families and stuff like that.
Your coronavirus numbers are quite low, but you can't forget that the New Zealand population is 5 million. Your confirmed cases have been very low compared to other people. You've only had 1,498 coronavirus numbers.
Yes, correct.
That is a lot less, less than many other places, especially where I am. In the US. You've also only had about 21 deaths.
That's right.
And recoveries have been outstanding. 1,411.
Yes.
There's only about 65 cases left where you are in New Zealand. Your active cases have turned from 65 to 56. And you've only had one new case in the past day.
Correct.
Which is mind-blowing.
Yes, and we had none in the previous 2 days.
We had the advantage, being tucked away at the bottom of the world, that we didn't get our first case until the 28th of February. So we got it quite late. And our first death was on the 29th of March. And when we went into our level 4 lockdown on the 25th of March, we only had 205 cases.
Level 4 is really big, right? It means no going in and out of the place.
That's right. Level 4 meant only essential services were open.
The government developed a 4-level system where level 4 is the full lockdown.
So the grocery stores, the pharmacies, and petrol stations were open. Everything else was closed. All the cafes, McDonald's, absolutely everything was closed. And that lasted for 5 weeks.
Level 3 is a sort of eased lockdown. And level 2 is almost business as usual, but with social distancing and contact tracing.
What did the New Zealand Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, do to prevent this?
The Prime Minister decided that we should have gone into level 4, into lockdown, as soon as possible.
She was very calm. She appeared at 1 p.m. every day. We had our coronavirus update, and there was her and the Director General of Health would update us every day. Her main message when we went to level 4 was stay home, be kind.
And what happened is that we were in lockdown when the number of cases was actually very, very low compared to other countries.
We called it a bubble. So my bubble consists of my house as myself and my partner Andrew, and wherever you had spent the previous night when we woke up that morning of the 25th of March was where you were meant to stay. That was your bubble for lockdown of level 4.
And this meant that within 4 weeks, the number of new cases dropped from daily new cases, dropped from 80, 90 to 3, 4, 1. And all these cases were perfectly traceable. So they knew the origin on each and every one of those.
And she spent a lot of time communicating with New Zealand. She's done some Facebook Lives from her house after her daughter's been in bed, very casual, and answered people's questions.
And this, in turn, allowed the country to shift from level 4 to level 3. In level 3, there was a minimum of working activity in the building sector, in the forestry sector. That's very important here. And people were allowed to get takeaways, for example.
The government put a wage subsidy in place. So for 12 weeks, any business that could prove that they were losing up to 30% of their income, the government put a wage subsidy in place. They have pumped about $25 billion into the economy so far, paying people's wages, trying to keep businesses, afloat.
The number of cases kept reducing. So now we are in level 2, where we can go to the office, we can go to restaurant as long as we stay at our table, we keep social distancing. Monday morning, the schools will open again after 6 weeks.
And we have a high level of trust, really, of her and what she's done. She's got a great amount of support for what she was doing.
How is this affecting you as an individual person?
I actually was looking for a property to buy, so I had to stop my search, and I just resumed it. So next week I will be on the hunt again.
I'm a bit of an introvert, which means I'm quite happy to be at home, to be honest. I've spent a lot of this time at home.
I love reading books.
For all that, I do really like being at home. I did get a little bit depressed and a little bit sick of, the worries of the world. But mostly we've been okay.
I play football a couple of times a week before lockdown, obviously.
My partner Andrew has been home, and I read a lot, and I watch a lot of Netflix, and we play with our dogs.
A few long strolls along the coast. We are on the coast, so there's a nice pathway where you can walk for more than 15 kilometers on the beach.
My children weren't home. My daughter has a little home of her own here in town, but she works at a cafe. So for the first 3 weeks, she stayed by herself.
What else? A bit of yoga every now and then.
We haven't been able to take the dogs out to the beach to run them, which we like to do, because you could take your dogs for a walk, but you had to keep them on lead. So as soon as we could, we took them out to the beach and let them run to their heart's content, which was really nice. My partner's been doing some landscaping. He's did a bit of concreting and a little bit of stuff like that to keep busy.
And sometimes when I have time, I like watching movies and TV series on television.
You mentioned having dogs.
Yes.
What other pets do you have, and how many dogs do you have?
We have 2 dogs. Bounce is a 6-year-old rescue, and Sadie is a 3-year-old rescue. And then we have 2 cats. They are just regular moggy cats, and they're both turning 9 this year.
I'm staying with friends now, and we don't have any pets, but at the moment we are feeding a stray cat. Whenever I will have my own place, I will probably look in at having a cat or 2.
One of the cats doesn't like either of the dogs.
One
of the dogs doesn't like either of the cats, but Sadie and Floofy, the brindle dog, and the ginger cat like each other.
You are originally from Italy,
yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Why did you come to New Zealand?
Because it was the best country I found outside of Italy.
That's really weird. It's like a dog has one dog, only has the other dog as a friend because he doesn't like the cats. One dog has the other dog and one of the cats. Same with the cats, except the other way around.
I grew up in a big city, that's Rome, and I wanted to find a place with a lot less people, a lot less pollution. Yes. To be honest, I have to confess that every winter, that is summer in Europe, I fly to Italy and stay there for 4 to 5 months. So it's a bit 50-50.
The ginger cat, actually, she does like the brown dog, but the brown dog just ignores her completely.
Before moving here, I used to spend every summer holiday in a different area of the world. So I actually have a pair of boots that have touched all the 5 continents.
Some of them get along, right?
They do, yes. Sadie and Floofy will snooch on each other and lick each other.
Sounds like a lot of new friends that you make and
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yes, I have friends in almost every continent.
Thank you for the interview. This was really fun. It was nice to see you, and I hope we can meet in person one day.
Thank you, and it would be great to meet in person one day.
You stay safe, and thanks a lot to you.
Bye.
Bye, Alexandra. Thank you. Bye.